Welcome. Today we'll be looking on educational history and philosophy, specifically looking on how philosophy of education influence us as teachers. My name is Sipe Mkokozo and I'm currently a student at Two Oceans Graduate Institute. I hope you enjoy the video. Our content today will not be that long. We'll be looking on how my personal values are being influenced by one of the philosophy's issues, of which is social reconstruction. We'll also be looking at theoretical difference between social reconstruction and essentialism, the learner and teacher-centered lessons. We'll also look at ethical teaching, the nature of ethical teaching, and the 4 steps of ethical teaching. Philosophy is a branch of philosophy that addresses philosophical questions concerning the nature, aims, and problems of education. Now, this is how philosophical education has been, explained, and then it comes to how we as teachers approach the philosophy and how we then apply it in classes and in schools. Now, social reconstruction basically is a learner-centered philosophy. This philosophy focuses on how the learners interact with each other and with society or with social. Now, it challenges them to look at how the world is and how the future might be, or how they would like the future might be, to future to be. So it challenges them to come up with new ideas on how a better tomorrow is for them. With social reconstruction, it really is a part of most of people's lives. So the way that we interact with each other. Well, some people don't do that, but with how I grew up, it taught me culturally the beliefs and the tradition on how to respect adults and to respect everyone around you. The spiritual belief on how to love and how to be peaceful and always find a better solution to all of your problems. With educational background, of course, it has taught me a lot of responsibility. That is to take a responsibility on your own work and to be a leader, to know when to basically lead a group and know exactly what is that you're doing. When you look at social reconstruction and essentialism, you find that essentialism is more of a teacher base. So now that philosophy expects learners to know exactly what they're talking about. Now that is a philosophy where you just get thrown a book and you're told to study, and tomorrow you get given a test to write a test, assuming that you have already read the book and that you understand the content. While social reconstruction challenges more into interaction with each other and to actually hear what other people are saying and what they think about the same problem that you're facing. Now, when we look at that example of an essentialism centered lesson by CAPS, for example, if you take a grade 10 life science and you give them a test, you get in class in the morning, you write on the board, you tell them what chapter you're writing, you're giving them a test to, and then you give them a script to write a test. Now you already expect that they know the content, and that will be a specific aim one according to CAPS. When you look at social reconstruction, it's a bit of a different story. Now, social reconstruction encourages that learners learn in group, that they interact with each other as much as they interact with the society. Therefore, come back with those ideas to try and come up with one idea that is a solution. Now, if you're giving them like a lesson to go asking people about global warming and all of that, so that come back and write an essay, they'll get a chance to interact with the outside, with the group, and also come together with a solution to writing that one or solving that one problem. Teaching really talks about how a teacher behaves, or yes, how a teacher behaves professionally around other teachers, not only that, but around the student and the working environment. It requires one to be fair, to be honest and reasoning, to have the knowledge. You need to ask before you react, and you need to do that with reason, honesty, and you need to be very fair with your decision. Now, when you look at 4 steps model of ethical reasoning, you're looking at moral sensibility, moral judgment, moral motivation, and moral characters, of which all of these 4 steps helps a teacher come into understanding as to how to deal with a dilemma that happens. You need to have all these steps for you to have a clear solution without being biased to any of the parties. Now, moral sensitivity, it looks at how others are affected by what has happened. So as a teacher, you firstly look at that, look at what has happened and how other people have been affected by it. So if a student has done something, you look at how then what the student has done or the learner has done and how it influences other learners. Not only that, but the external, like your teachers, your principal, your parents, and your peers, and how everybody else is being affected. And you always remember that your decision at the end of the day will also affect them. You look at moral judgment. Moral judgment looks at perspective reasoning, morality, justified action. Now that is how then the action that you taking, is it morally justified or is it more personally justified, of which that should not be the case. It should always be morally justified. When you look at moral motivation, it values moral value more over personal values, of which is what I've just said, that you cannot at any place bring your own personal problems into the school environment, as that will affect your creativeness and your way that you think. Moral character always takes upon a teacher on making the right decision, or yes, making the right decision or taking the correct or the right action that will also all be influenced, of course, by other steps. Now, it comes down to you taking the right decision morally. These are some of the references that I've used. You can access them to find some of the information. All in all, for me, philosophy of education or philosophy means that a teacher needs to love themselves, respect themselves, and be prepared to be a parent to students and love others as much as they love themselves.